Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, Darrell Owens, and this is Green and Gold over everything. You know what, y'all? I'm happy. I'm truly happy. This Packer enthusiast is on a natural high right now. Why? Because the Packers have won 3 straight games, and just about a month ago, we were sad and lonely on this show, but not anymore. We got a little bit of a spunk in our step, but I think that happens when you take down the defending Super Bowl champions at home at Lambeau, in front of Taylor, in front of our Queen Simone Biles. Let's go ahead and get it started. This is Green and Gold over everything. Episode 13. I got my boys Randell and Dishon with me today. We about to get it in. Let's go. Yeah, I'm excited. I know y'all excited too. This is Green and Gold over everything, episode 13, as we enter week 14 of the NFL season. Now, I'm going to, before I get into all the fun stuff, let me go ahead and invite my boys into the room. First, my guy, got to represent my man, Randall Burns. Go ahead, tell him. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead, come on.
Goody man.
We knew it was coming. And then, of course, can't forget my man, Dishon. Dishon, how you doing, brother? How's everything going?
Man, I'm here so I don't get fined.
Facts.
And I want to see what this Goody man conversation is about.
Hey, look, I think we all are there right now. We want to know what Goody man is all about. I mean, Randall's on the vibe right now. He's definitely on the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And so before we get into it, of course, for those who may be living under a rock of you in Packer Nation, big win for the boys on Sunday, 27-19 over the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. It's a really nice one to have up on the mantle. Feels really good to have this victory over let's be honest with you, a really good Kansas City Chiefs team, especially when all of the talk going into this game was about Taylor Swift. It was about Taylor Swift. So it's a really good deal to kind of be able to get into it today. Randall, I'm gonna let you ride, brother. I know you're very excited to talk about Goody man. Go ahead and enlighten us on Goody man. Go ahead and enlighten us on Goody man.
March 2019. Goody man laid the trap for Aaron Rodgers. Brought in Darius. Brought in Preston, brought in Amos. So here, brother, got you a defense. You scoring all these points. Go ahead, do it. Go ahead. Aaron played all right. They bring in Matt LaFleur. Still play all right. Goody man go out and he find himself a young melanated brother, 6'4", been through adversity. Father committed suicide when he was in high school.
We're not laughing at that, by the way. We're laughing at everything else.
And he said that is the man that is going to lead the Packers into the future. That is the man that's going to lead us to the promised land. And now when he picked up that phone, he said, listen here, young brother. I see greatness in you. And I believe in civil rights. You were going to be the first African-American quarterback
I don't know if he said
to
that.
lead the Green Bay Packers. But we got to wait and get this old ass man up out of here. Now, I know he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. He's probably going to start drinking. And Aaron said he said he went and grabbed some whiskey that night. He said he's probably going to play well. Don't worry about it. I know him well. You just wait, young brother. You bide your time. I'm going to build everything around you. Aaron's going to think we going all in. You let him believe whatever you want. You're going to start talking crazy on TV. You don't pay him no mind. Jordan sat. He went in the lab. He worked. Then Aaron lied to us and told us he was immunized. And it almost threw a wrench in Goody's plan. He had to go play against the Kansas City Chiefs, and he got blitzed to hell. And that was Matt LaFleur's fault. It wasn't no fault of the golden boy, Jordan Love. Even Matt said at the end of the game, I called it Aaron game. I didn't call it Jordan game. But if you go back and look at those stats, the defense did its job. And that was when Goot knew. Because they only beat us by a little bit.
Yeah.
Look at my golden child right there. He can do it. Aaron won another MVP, which he probably shouldn't have won that second one. It was a little iffy. He blows it in the NFC Championship game against the Bucs. He blew it. He should have ran. He didn't run. So then he does the Jay-Z. He gets on the Summer Jam stage and lays the trap like he laid it for Nas. And he brought in Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs and Sammy Watkins. And Devontae wanted to go be with his grandma. I completely understand it. And Aaron showed up to training camp and said, "What kind of bullshit is this? I got 2 rookies, Alan Lazard and old ass Randall Cobb." And Goody said, "All right, Aaron, go ahead, make it work. You say you a GOAT, you were great." And Aaron couldn't make it work. He broke his thumb. And like a selfish man, instead of sitting on the bench, healing his hand, he went out and played. Goody said, "I got you." Look at that selfishness. Could have let Jordan play. Could have let get some real reps. And just like Aaron did that fateful day against the Cowboys, Jordan Love came in against the Eagles, and he said, "Oh, man, this boy's slinging it." And Aaron walked off the field that last game with his arm around Randall Cobb, looking disgusted. Goody walked over to Jordan. "Let's go, boy. Let's put the play in motion. Ain't no rewinding me back. Look at us now."
Ain't no rewinding me back.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of your story that I'm like, okay, I'm cool with. The MVP, come on, man. Look, my guy.
There's a lot to impact there.
There's a lot of impact.
He deserved the first one. The second one, I don't know.
Yeah, the second one could have been a toss-up, but he got it. And that's our guy. Maybe not your guy, but that's our guy. I mean, there's so much. D, I might let you go, man, because I'm still trying to get this. What are your thoughts on on Goody, man, and Randall Siliquili?
Wait, before he starts, the last thing, we ain't need no vets. We ain't need no goddamn vets.
We still need vets. That's my purpose.
The vets is on the field.
Yeah, they're gonna need it when the playoffs come. Yeah, we get in the playoffs, they're gonna need it. So they may not need it now. They're gonna need it there.
Hold up, wait. Just the fact that you talk about playoff shows we don't need no vets. Aaron Rodgers was 6-10 in his first season.
Hey, if we'd have had vets, we'd be 10-2.
Aaron Rodgers had an NFC Championship roster.
We would be 10-2 if we had vets. That's why we lost those couple of games in between. We'd be 10-2.
Here's how I know Goody is smart. He said, "Look at this. Aaron got an NFC Championship roster. He only went 6-10. Jordan playing with children. Children. Goody man to go."
Wait a minute. He 24 himself. Wait a minute. Get Goody man to go. Dishon, I'm gonna go to you, bro. Great game on Sunday. Nice win for the Pack. They try to give us a little bit of grief on the pass interferences and stuff, but let's be honest with you. That little crappy call they didn't call when they called Mahomes on the sideline. I'm like, bro, wow, trying to treat my cousin like that. What is that all about? I don't understand it, man. Y'all can stop treating my cousin Jonathan bad. I don't understand.
Doing that to family.
I mean, out there trying to play good for his wife. I mean, look, it's disrespectful is what it is. But what are your thoughts on the game, man? And if you want to elaborate on what Randall just eloquently put.
No. I'm gonna leave Randall alone where he at. I'm gonna stick to what I said to y'all early in the season. I'm on the love train.
Hey, there you go.
I ain't getting off. I said that early in the season.
I said when he got drafted.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, man.
That's good.
Man. He's trying to get there.
something wrong with you. Literally, I know people that know you. You know what I'm saying? But nah. So we talked about the game, and I think the game was a great game, right? I think it's the best game that I would say this season. And I'm not trying to take a shot, but I would say in the last 2 years that I felt like Matt called. I think he was consistent in the first half, and I think he was somewhat consistent in the second half. But for a total game, I think it's one of the best that I've seen him call. I think it's one of the best that I've seen Barry call too, in terms of changing different schemes and what he was trying to do. But to the point, the thing that concerned me is like some of the plays at the end of the game. Again, I'm just going to keep beating this drum, D. You know me and you talk about this. Mm-hmm. Like veterans are needed to balance out what we are seeing on the field, which is good stuff from our young guys. Like it really is good stuff. I don't want to, malay the point that just because they're young, they're not playing well. They are. But I think there's a couple plays like that really could have went differently if we had, some veteran leadership. Like I do think that we need, man, I would love for another type of linebacker, another veteran linebacker that could really solidify that front with Quay and with 59. Like I really would love to see that. I think Jordan continues to take some leaps and bounds. I like the game that he played. I would like to see a couple more points on the board in terms of touchdowns in the second half. The only play that he really had me upset with him was that last sack that he took.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at that point, I think he's seen it enough, climb the pocket, throw it away, but don't give up that type of yardage because that's you putting some undue pressure. That wasn't Mason, and maybe we're glad it wasn't Mason. You know what I'm saying? But I think it was a good game. I think he put everything together. And shout out to AJ Dillon.
Yeah.
Shout out to AJ Dillon for stepping up.
We trashed on him.
Answering the call.
Who drafted him?
Yeah.
We know who drafted him. I said we trashed him.
I forgot for a second.
You ain't forget.
I forgot for a minute.
You know who been here for the last 4 or 5 years. Come on now.
Goody Main.
Main.
Okay. All right. You going to get me back on my stuff. I was going to open saying I still want Goody Man to play in traffic with that all-black champion sweatsuit on. You going to get me back on my stuff. You see the hat? Don't make me go.
Hey, yo.
Don't make me go back.
That's funny.
Don't make me go back.
Well, look, here's the thing. You see both guys. You see the team play well overall. I think. I
see the mute sign.
Yeah, I seen the mute.
Oh.
No, there you go.
That thing disappeared on me. I hit the wrong button.
You happy you talk bad about the Goody Man?
Yeah, I was about to praise him a little bit. Look, I'm very proud of some of the things he has done lately. I think there was a little bit I was starting to get worried. I didn't like that he challenged Jordan in the middle of the season or kind of gave the illusion that he wasn't going to be back. But ever since then, hey, props to him because he's been playing lights out since he said what he said about we got to evaluate the next 10 games. Jordan said, all right, cool. Got you. And that's the way. And he's been like that. Should be 4 straight wins. Should have won in Pittsburgh. But like, I'm not going to, go too deep into all that. But I like what I'm seeing from this team. I think they're playing well. The young receivers are doing good things. I think that even with the rotation of the left tackle, they've been rotating the left tackle position. And you know what? We haven't been great, but it's been solid, and it's been solid. They played good football. What I've liked in the last 2 games, if they jumped on really good teams in those games. Now, classic Packers in a game like that, maybe a little bit, or this team maybe a little bit behind. They'll keep it close. No, they jumped on them in both of those games. And I'm like, okay, I like this. So kudos to Matt. I think Matt did some really good play calling in the last 2 games, especially in his last one. I'm the one that wished him upon this team. So I got to take some blame for that. I remember we was in the group chat and I said, I think Matt LaFleur is going to be the guy. And he was like, who's that guy? And go figure. Yeah. So I got to take some blame on that. That's my fault. But I mean, if he can do some things, get it together, we'll see. But I'm very proud of this team. I like what I've seen. Real quick before we go into more of it, we'll talk about our guys' performance. Great performance by Mr. Love. This is the 3rd week in a row he's been the offensive player of the week. It's 25 for 36, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. That's the key number. That 0 picks. We've seen a lot of 0 pick. That's that knocking on that wood. A lot of 0 pick games. 3 straight 100, quarterback rating games for Jordan Love, fellas. And we're seeing a guy that I think the confidence level right now is at a really good place. Randall, what do you think about the confidence level of Jordan Love right now? And then what you've been seeing from J Love?
Like, it just clicked. Like, everything. I would listen to. I'd always go watch the post game. I'd always watch everything he say, and nothing he has said from day one till now has changed. It's always been, I believe in myself. I believe in the people around me. And even at times when you would hear LaFleur, like, you'd hear the players, we believe in this dude. When Jair, day one in training camp, ran up behind him, it was like QB1, best QB in the league. And I know people was looking around like, what? And didn't understand it. And if you notice, if you follow Darius Slay on Twitter, he was a huge supporter, even when he wasn't playing well. And he would sit there and say, this dude got it. This dude got it. You just need reps. And it goes back to the draft and develop debate, which is why I wanted him to start after Philly last year. I like when QBs sit. I'd rather you start that second year versus the 3, just because of the whole contract situation and the way you could, leverage those contracts to bring in dudes. But I don't hate 12. I don't like some of the things he does. I still think, Brady's got his 6 rings, but I think at the end of the day, best quarterback of all time, it's still 12. And you wasn't going to shove a dude out after the first MVP. It was just not going to happen. In the ideal world, and I think what Goot was counting on was that he was on the decline. And remembering that 12 is, type of dude that holds a grudge, remembers everything. There was no way if he wasn't going to win the Super Bowl that year, he was definitely going to win the MVP. And if he'd got rid of him after the first MVP, people would have looked at him like, you already got damn mind. So he had to wait. Had to. But it timed out. It may not contract-wise because what else he could have done with the roster, but he just needed the reps. And it was like, okay, I've got – like, when do we say this really changed? Probably say the Pittsburgh game?
Yeah.
And then it was just like, okay, I've seen enough. I've got it. Like, he's still going to make mistakes. Like, I think Dan Orlovsky and JT O'Sullivan do the best when evaluating him. Like Dan has said, there's things he needs to clean up mechanically, but LaFleur knows, okay, this is what he can do. Jordan knows what he can do, and they've put it all together. And Dan has said it. You're going to see a completely different dude next season once he ties everything from the legs up, from the feet up to the shoulders. But for to make a change like that in the middle of the season, credit to, and not just Goop, but the Packers scouting staff and whatever they saw. And one thing I have learned is Goop really likes looking at a guy's junior year tape versus senior year tape. So if you ever notice, like, Darrell, you said it with Wicks, it wasn't the senior year. The senior year wasn't great.
Terrible
It
senior
was
year.
the junior year was out of insane. Same thing goes back to Jordan. His junior year tape is incredible. His senior year tape is like, ugh.
Well, I know what it was that Goot and everybody saw in Jordan. And so I think with Jordan in that decision, you got to take that even like maybe like 3-4 years back. What they saw in Jordan is what they saw in Kaepernick. A young, athletic, rangy type of quarterback that has an amazing arm and that can make some stay alive plays with his feet. So I think he's starting to learn that now. I think the Pittsburgh game was a good game for him, but I actually go back for me. I think the game that he probably learned the most was probably the Detroit game.
The first one.
First one. I think he learned the most that game because you're talking about, playing that game, having some of the throws that he had. We talked about it as we were watching the game and even games previously, not having the touch. I think he went and not only did he work on that, but he looked at it and he's consistently drilling that point. He had a couple of high misses in this game too. that kind of concerned me. I was like, man, there was one Kraft was on the right sideline. He did a dig and he came back and Jordan kind of missed him high. Luckily, the safeties were playing a little bit further up than they needed to be.
So let me ask you a question real quick. When he missed that, did he pat the ball or have that extra hitch? Because I noticed JT said whenever he misses, it's usually he pats the ball extra, or there's always some extra, and then that's when he misses.
So one of the things that I noticed about him is that he has that extra pat that Aaron kind of had, but Aaron's extra pat, his touch after that is different, and his ball placement. I think when Jordan pats the ball, he's dead-eye locked on the target and where the target is supposed to be, not where they could be going. Like there was another throw that even Collinsworth has said where he missed somebody where he threw it so far behind him and Justin Reed that they were like, where the hell is he throwing that?
Towards the end of the game, right?
Towards the end of the game, and it was almost like
when he was sprinting out.
Yeah, but the thing that made me question that was like, and I think he's developing it, is like, what are you seeing? What are you seeing in that route that says throw it that way? Because that, for all intents and purposes, really shouldn't have been a sidearm throw. It should have just been a throw out to space, out to the flat, because that's what you see. So I think he's developing those things. And again, I think to your point, Burrs, with the development of the other guys around him, because he's saying, you know what, I'm going to go back to you. I think that's helped a lot. Yeah. I think the young guys deciding that they're going to be a young team and just rock with each other, I think has also helped Christian Watson a lot.
Right.
Because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but now I've been watching him on the sideline more. Like even when he came out the tent, he wasn't down. He was still engaged in the game. So I was like, okay, maybe he's growing a little bit too. But again, I think all of this comes together with real reps, with real time. We knew this was going to happen the same way it happened for Aaron, right? So it's a good thing to watch. But, and here's my only but, because you guys know we talk about Goody Man and Matt a lot sometimes. That game against Kansas City, for me as a Packers fan, makes the game against Denver and Atlanta hurt more.
Agree. I agree 1,000%. And I'm going to tell you why, because it's like we've seen the glimpses of what he could be, and it makes it hurt more because, and that's why I keep saying we should be 10-2. I mean, you had the lead in the Falcons game, and in the other games you had the ball last and driving down the field. So that's what makes it hurt more. But I think those losses also, like you said, could be good. It's a good way for them to grow as a team because they don't want to make those mistakes. I think, and I can't remember which game it was, but I remember Jordan putting his arm around Christian after one of the games and kind of just, hey, man, we got your back. I think that's really helped him out the last, because since that moment, Christian has played really good football. Like, I mean, he's playing like what he played like last year towards the end of the season. So that's part of it for me. So, I mean, we knew it was growing pain. So yes, I'm okay with it.
The one thing I also want to point out, and that I absolutely love, no pun intended, is that now he is becoming the unquestioned leader, which is great, and what you always want to see in QB number one.
Right.
You want the guys to, even though they're inexperienced, to look at him and say, okay, you tell me what to do, and I'm going to go do it.
Well, that's what the wide receivers coach Mike Vrabel said in a press conference earlier this week. And they were like, is he the leader? He says he has called guys out in practice and not taking a shot at 12, but he said he does it in a way where he's not overly critical. And he still says, hey, but you did this right. Let's just clean this up. He said he's never called a guy out in a way that's demeaning, but just like, hey, this is what's supposed to be done. Let's do it the right way. And he said he loves the fact that now you've got the running backs, the tight ends, the wide receivers, and Love all just getting together on their own, extra time working together. And I think it was after the Pittsburgh game, they all hung around Jaden Reed's locker And it was pretty much like, yo, we're gonna figure this out.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna piggyback a little bit. I think, and this is maybe me conspiracy theorist or whatever, but my thing is, and maybe Jordan is that way because he had a chance to see how Aaron reacted to certain things, and it may be a thing where it's teaching him. You know, I used to be, when I first started the podcast game, when I first started in this media thing, I was a part of a team that, you know, it was a lot of good, just talented people on this team. Now, there were some things that may have not went, you know, maybe the best away, but I saw how a lot of the people that were on the team started to react to how things went, because I don't think they felt like they were getting the attention or the love, or maybe they were getting disrespected, or whatever way you want to say it. And I remember I used to take that experience when it started, this network. I'm like, all right, I took things from that experience that I learned and tried to, put my own spin on it and make it better. And I think that's what he's doing with that. He saw what happened with Aaron. He saw how maybe the younger guys didn't respond to Aaron maybe a certain way. And maybe he was like, all right, maybe I got to give him a little tough love and then kind of, show him a little love on the side. So I'm thinking that what it could be, and so Aaron taught him something without even having to try to teach him. But he may have taught him something just by sitting there and watching him. And then we've seen a lot of what he does throughout this season where you can tell he learned it from 12. And I think he's learned a lot from 12 where it's some bad, some good. But I think that's one of those situations where he learned it and said, okay, this is how I can make it better for the guys that rally around me.
So D, I'll take it like this. I'm sorry, Burns, but like real quick, I'll take it like this. This is like the one beautiful thing that it is to be a Packers fan, right? In terms of we get to sit here and talk about potential greatness because we've seen it twice already, right?
Yes.
And to your point, D, listen, I guarantee you that there were things that 12 took from 4 and said, yeah, I need to do that. And I think there were things that he also saw in 4 and said, yeah, I can't do that. I'm not the happy-go-lucky jokester, prankster type guy with everybody. That's not my character. Right. But there are things that I can glean from him. And I think 10 is doing that now too, because if you see, especially, I think one of the things that happens with Aaron and he doesn't get, he gets bad light for is, listen, a lot of the receiver core that we had weren't necessarily young guys that he always had to pull together and say, hey, let's go get this, right? These are guys that were somewhat outside of Devontae, were somewhat seasoned and knew how to do things, or guys that he immediately clicked with. So a lot of times with quarterbacks, they don't have to necessarily do all that. But with 10 and where he's going, this is probably the best thing because I think it's not only permeating through the wide receiver room, it's through the team. Mm-hmm. Because for Jair, and I love Jair, but he's weird. So
everybody says that. Everybody says
that. For him to give you that vote of confidence, like you said, that's something big. For Aaron Jones to come out and say what he said, that's something big. And I think it's playing dividends now. But here's the other thing. Now we got to get these other guys back into the fold.
Right.
I tell you where I looked at that game, and man, oh man, in that last drive, I miss Rasul.
Yeah.
I missed a player like him. And even Burns, when I said it to you the other day, like I know we got the log jam at safety, but like Adrian was a solid leader for us. Like, we're going to need that in the playoffs because I think we can get there.
He's still out there. He's still out there.
I don't think he got signed earlier.
Who signed him?
Who signed him?
Who are the Jets playing this week? Whoever the Jets are playing this week is the team that signed him.
The Bills? No. The Jets got oh man, I forgot who the Jets are playing this week. I had a whole moment. They're playing. Who are the Jets playing this week? It's somebody that the Texans. They got the Texans this week.
Yeah, the Texans signed him.
Wow. It's a smart move by the Texans.
Yes.
It's a smart move by the Texans.
Wow.
D'Amico, that's a good move.
Man, D'Amico, that's a good move.
That's a good move. That's a good move. But hey, I mean, look, go shout out Goody. I mean, at least he brought in.
Only want the kids.
He did sign Kenyon Drake, who is. Let me tell you something. Kenyon Drake is a solid running back to bring in the fold.
So who's out? Who's out the mix now?
That's James Robinson is out the
Yeah,
mix.
they released Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah, but Kendrick Drake is a really good. I'm surprised he even signed Kendrick Drake, to be honest with you, because that doesn't totally go along with the youth.
Yeah, because he also signed that David Long, the defensive back from the Panthers.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to that what he sticks to. He's usually going to sign that. The guy was on the Rams for 3 years. He's usually going to sign the guys that played for the Rams
because they fall into the offense quicker.
Yeah,
I mean defense quicker or offense, whatever it is. So that's it, man. It's a good deal. That's a good deal.
But,
I mean, like I said, I would have liked to have him back.
Another feather in the cap for my boy Goody man. We got our one. We got 2 picks in the second round, 2 picks in the third round.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 4th-round picks, 3 6th-round picks.
We loaded.
Yeah.
We loaded. And this is another good draft too, y'all. This is another good draft.
Listen, and here's the thing. Like I said the other day, if you were smart, right, any franchise should be watching what was happening in OKC. And I think Goody has kind of you get the youth movement and you get the picks and the commodities, so you can move pieces around.
Right.
If the only thing that will get me back on your man's bad side is if he doesn't go in his draft and address the defensive and offensive line.
I think that's
it has to be that, Burns.
The
it's
3
no
guys
other way around it.
that are the top, like at offensive tackle, are gonna be gone by the time we're up there.
Yeah.
It's dude from Notre Dame. I think it's Falasawanu and another guy. They're not good. We're gonna be picking in like 20 at this rate.
Here's one of the things. Like, move up.
I think he's trying to go back.
Make some deals.
Because the name that I keep hearing is that kid Keon Coleman from Florida State, the wide receiver. And that dude looks like a problem.
Listen, but here's the thing. See, that's why I was about to try to give him credit.
Because I was about to try to give him credit.
Why do that? Why bring that in with what you currently dealing with?
Let me show you why. You've got Dobbs and Watson, whose contract's going to be up in the same year.
Okay.
You're not going to get both of them. Then right after that, you're going to have Reed and Wicks same year.
So you got to make sure you have the backup.
Got to make sure that he wants to keep 3. And the other thing that I've heard a couple of scouts from the Packers say is they're looking at guards in the second round.
They're gonna get a running back in one of those first 5 in those 5 picks too.
They scouted the kid Shipley from Clemson already.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've seen them interested in Corum from Michigan. But they've said what they're really looking at is they're looking at offensive lineman, another wide receiver, and a running back.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get a running back because as much as I love Aaron Jones, they're gonna have to. And I got a feeling they're gonna sign Dillon back. And if they do sign him back, they're probably gonna sign him back for more than they probably should.
I can see Dillon taking a cut. I can see him not taking a big deal to stay.
He might, but there's gonna be somebody out there that want him. You know, a team like Tennessee that may be on the outs with Henry or something in that range. It'll be interesting how they approach that, but definitely going to be drafting running back in those first 2 rounds. I mean, especially with one of the second round picks at the minimum, they got to go running back. I wouldn't say first unless there's a stud out there. So here's my monkey wrench to the plan. If they're gonna go Coleman, which I love because I'm an FSU fan, if they're gonna go that way, cool. Get the protection after him. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
you got to load up.
We can wait for a running back. Better yet, listen. Let's see what the market is for some of these guys that you feel like maybe don't fit the system no more. I would hate to see it because Burns, you and I argued about this years ago with Aaron. Listen, if you're gonna make a move, go ahead and make it. Like right. I really think what's happening now, and I kind of hate to see this too, is that if these young guys continue to play well the way that they are, remember we're going into what, like week 3, week 4 without 23?
Yeah.
They may believe just like they did with Sewell that they could do without him.
They can't move that contract yet. You can't move.
Yeah, they got another year. They got at least
38 million. He's got a lot.
And they don't think anybody would take that type of deal.
But we're gonna have the dead cap, and then they want to make sure that by 2025,
that's all right.
Yeah,
we're gonna have all the goodness in 2025, baby.
They started having talks with Bakhtiari about restructuring because I guess there's a way that they could bring it down to 21 million. And then he announced the other day that he intends to play for the Packers next year. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, of course you want to play now. You definitely want to stay
man,
here.
I'm about to cuss. Look, I mean, he's gonna have to play at turf next year, so I hope he. I'm like he gonna have to play at turf next year. So this, I can't play because of turf
listen,
stuff.
As much as you screaming it, this your man fault too.
Hey,
this is
Goody
your
man.
man fault.
He signed him.
Goody man.
Goody man.
Goody man did this.
He was at that Bucks game when we had that beard like this. Yeah,
I say this.
Goody man.
It was Aaron's best friend, but the plan worked out. Hey, I'm never gonna apologize for Packer fans being God's favorite children when it comes to quarterbacks. We just wake up and find them,
and just find them. At least since 1990, and you know that 20-year, that 20 to 30-year drop between Starr and Favre, you know it happens. But you know we've been blessed. I mean we've had a really good run at at quarterbacks. But you know what? Another thing I think people don't realize we've always been really good at finding receivers. Yeah, really good at finding receivers. You can go all the way back to old Don Hudson, man. You go all the way back, but we've always been able to find receivers. So the James Laughtons, the Sterling Sharp, my guy. We can go on and on. They can find receivers. So
I got a question for you guys, right? So I just cracked Madden 24 the other day. So me and my brother are playing a season, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna add another pass rusher to this team.
Right.
A premier pass rusher. Boy, oh boy. That thing looks so pretty. And listen, by all intents and purposes, I jumped all the way out the window. I added Myles Garrett, but
yeah, you did. You jumped way out the window.
Way out the window. I ain't care nothing about the cap. They was like, we want first, second, have it all.
Man, you can take my entire draft. Give me Myles Garrett.
So what do you guys think about a pass rusher? Like, I think this draft may present some tweeners that are pretty good too. Florida State has a couple of them. Go Seminoles. But a pass rusher, because I believe we got to be thinking that Preston at some point, and Preston has done outstanding.
He has been. He's been good.
Outstanding. But we got to say at some point there needs to be a real high interjection of youth on the other side. Pause. But we got to get there, because some of the young guys that I've seen on the D line at the outside, I don't know if they're working enough for us.
Yeah, I mean Van Ness got a sack the other day. It was nice to see.
They still gonna. I think in Goose mind, Gary is the blueprint, so it's like, all right, I'm gonna let Van Ness cook. I can see them grabbing somebody like that. It's got to fit that 6'4", 260 and up. Thing that they want, like that's what he's going to stick to. But yeah, I think the beauty of this draft that he just had is we don't have to worry about that wide receiver position. We don't have to worry.
We really don't.
No, so we just got to worry about what that medical room look like, because I do not want to see nobody else running across the field going.
But what's crazy now? If we look at it's just Christian, like it is. Reed hurt his chest, but in terms of now, just these lower leg injuries, it's just him, and it keeps happening.
Well, how long is Aaron out?
Aaron, I don't think he's playing this week neither. I mean, and to be honest with you, don't even rush him back. I would wait till the playoffs. I'd wait till the playoffs. If you get into the playoffs, or you're in the position to get into the playoffs and you need him, then you play him. Because I mean, look, Patrick Taylor's not doing a bad job, for the most part. I mean, we need more there. But I mean, bringing in Drake, there's a reason why they brought in Drake.
Yeah,
we started from the bottom, now we're here. But they brought him in for a reason. I think, he's going to be a really nice piece to supplement with Dylan. If they can get him up to grass, it may be another week or so before they let him play. So we may not see him until they play the Buccaneers. But and
it's December,
and it's
December.
What
Dylan does in December.
I'm gonna knock on wood as well. Maddie LaFleur, 15-0 in December.
16-0 now.
16-0 in December.
The thing with Aaron,
that's crazy.
For me is
it's crazy.
It goes back to what McCarthy said. He tried to say in a nice way that he was injury prone, and I love Aaron Jones to death. But the days of a 5'8", 195-pound running back are probably over.
Yeah.
Like,
But see, this is why I had the argument with you about Jamal.
I didn't want him going. I didn't want him going at all.
You wanted Aaron over him.
Yeah, no, I wanted Jamal over Aaron. I wanted Aaron gone. Go back and look. I wanted Aaron gone.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I'm about to go back in the chat.
Go back.
I think I remember that though, but that might have been in the other chat because we had to split it. But anyway, that's But you got to do some dig deeping on that. But I
wanted him going because my thing, and I always go back to it. You can find a running back any round. We found Aaron in the 5th.
Found Williams in the 4th. So, and I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That would, he would be nice to have right now. New Orleans ain't doing nothing with Jamal right now, man. I was watching the stats, man. They getting like 2 rushes. Like he could look if he was here, I'm gonna tell you right now, we'd be unstoppable. Be unstoppable. Because I mean, the guy's tough, man. They need to find a way. Look,
and that was the one. That was one of the ones. That dude wanted to be here.
Yeah, he did.
When he played us last year and he stood at our tunnel and was hugging these dudes, they come out. I'm just sitting there like, that's where 12 did have a point. Certain guys that want to be here and they don't play.
Gotta keep them.
Yeah.
And my man Goody Man be like, Rock.
Yeah, I mean, like I told you with the James Jones story. Jones said it. He said, "Look, man, I wanted to be here, and they told me that it would get in the way in the development." And he said, I know you're going to be good. I just can't have it. I have to let 17, and I forgot who else was the other receiver at the time. I think it might have been yeah, and Everythang. So he wanted to make sure they were good. So I mean, look, I like where we are right now. I'm going to say that. I like where we are right now, and I feel really good about where we are. So I'm going to go to our defensive player real quick, and then we're going to head to our thoughts into the Giants game on Monday. And so real quick, got to give my man, go ahead, give Mr. Nixon love.
Oh, yeah.
Got the pick, got the interception, 60 yards, kickoff and returns. He did really good there. I tell you what, man, Nixon has really grown on me defensively. I mean, I think it's still there a little bit, but he's really grown on me defensively, guys. I really like what I've seen from him.
Yo, we need 2 more guys like that because he's a psycho.
He's
crazy.
He
can't have 4 because they'll ruin the locker room and it'll be chaos.
Right. You see how he's smiling in the picture? He smiled like he's crazy in the picture.
He's crazy.
My guy Nixon. So I wanted to give a shout out to Nixon before we get into that. Now I'm gonna go ahead, fellas, and get you guys' thoughts on the game on Monday night. My man Cody Stewart is coming in to deep dive with the Giants and the Packers. He's going to tell everybody how the Giants, or what the Giants need to do to beat the Packers. And of course, I'll tell you what the Packers need to do to beat the Giants. But I got to hear from my guys real quick on their thoughts about this game coming up, what they want to see, and all that fun stuff. So Giants coming up. I'm going to start with you first. Let me switch this out so we can see your face. There we go. So D, I'm gonna start with you first, bro. What are your thoughts in on this one? This Giants and this Packer matchup. What do you want to see out of it?
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
Derek Carr is on drugs.
What?
He just said on NFL Network, Marcus Mariota would be more productive playing quarterback for the Eagles than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, he on the drugs. Go ahead, D. Yeah, he on the drugs.
Nah, we ain't gonna gloss over what he taking. Like he taking that sunshine. What he doing?
The real good stuff.
Hey, you know what? Real quick before I do the Giants, right? I will say this, and I was thinking this the other day. We may see Jordan getting comfortable, like Mr. Hurts got comfortable in Philly, and being a good product on the field.
Right.
Like say what you want about Jalen, he gets it done. He's a winner, right? So we'll keep that 10 love. We got that.
Hey, and with less weapons though.
Yes,
and with less weapons, and with less. He got because Jalen Hurts is stacked.
He got a plethora.
it's insane, and they still trying to give him more. Like, you need more help. How much more help does he need? Like, good Lord.
Remember, he still got Julio sitting over there too.
Yeah, I'm just chilling. Julio ain't getting no time.
Man. So what I want to see about what the Giants game is simple. Stay attacking. I think they've gotten into, or Matt has gotten into a rhythm with some of his first half calling in the games. He's He's trying to attack. Like I said to you in the chat, I don't like the cute stuff, but I do like the fact that he's trying some things and he's kind of trusting Jordan to make certain decisions. So stay on the attack. But let's not overlook the Giants. The Giants are a wounded team that have nothing but pride to play for. And sometimes it's kind of dangerous. You know, they got their little version of Jeremy Lin with DeVito right now. So,
Oh, Matilda's dad. Matilda's dad. Yeah, Matilda's dad. Matilda's dad. Let me tell you something. Yeah, he got some good energy going on over there, though.
Yeah, so we got to play hard, man. But that's what I want to see. I want to see them continue to play hard. I want to see them continue to give Dylan a shot. Give him a shot to get going. Call some good plays that he can really put his foot in the ground and make some things happen. Because you know those 78 yards are what we needed. They set the tone for the game, like you said, D. After we got up on them and punched them in the mouth. So let's see that some more.
I like that. Randell, we'll head to you, man. What do you want? What do you want to see from this Packers-Giants game on Monday night? The better Monday night game.
Don't fall for the trap. Don't think just because this team is 4-8 and it looks like they probably tanking, don't fall for the trap. Go out there, play fundamental, play sound football. Joe Barry, you might be keeping your job. You know, don't screw it up. Jordan, if you take the easy pass, you don't got to, bomb it downfield, stay in rhythm, play the game properly. Matt, call a good, solid game. That's it. I don't care if it's ugly, just win and stay healthy. Stay healthy and win.
I like it. Look, here's the deal. I think for me, I just want to see them to continue to do what they've been doing the last couple of weeks. You want to tweak it a little bit, but keep that energy, keep that going. You got yourself a schedule coming up. Very winnable football games. They can beat every single team. The big one is out the way, in my opinion. We all talked about this. Like, we knew if they could get past Kansas City, which I ain't gonna lie to you, still a little bit of shock that it went the way it did.
Remember, we just wanted one out of those three games.
We just wanted one out of those 3 games, and we got
all three.
We got all 3. So if they could go in there and don't go and get on I don't want to say get on too much of a high. You want to stay level-headed because it's like, all right, we're winning all these games. That's cool, but I need you to still have that hunger that you've had the last 5 weeks, the last 5 games. Have that hunger throughout up into the playoffs. Because right now, if you make the playoffs, we got San Francisco waiting. That ain't fun times. So biggest thing for me is I want to see them keep growing. And if they can keep growing, and, who knows, maybe get lucked up, get a good spot in the playoffs where we can, maybe get a playoff win in there. That's my expectation at the minimum. Ain't trying to talk Super Bowl.
Do you know who you play if the season ended today?
Oh, so let me show you that real quick. I'm glad you brought it up. So this is off of my other show, y'all, but I want to show you the playoff picture as it stands right now. This is off my show 101. Well, no. So Minnesota has the advantage because they beat us.
Okay.
So So right now, Green Bay sitting at 7. They will take on San Francisco. The Lions would take on the Vikings. Now, here's a fun thing. I remember saying at the beginning of the season, I thought that the NFC North would get one team out. That's it, one team. Currently, there are 3 teams in the NFC North in the playoffs, and that's something I did not see coming. And I would say the same thing in the AFC, because in the AFC South has 3 teams in the playoffs as of right now, going into that time. So I wanted to show this to everybody real quick, but yeah, that's where they stand right now.
So here's the crazy idea I got, right? I would love to play San Francisco in the first round.
If they can beat them, I'd be pumped.
And you know why? The reason I say that is nobody on this team has any of that old fear that we have in San Francisco.
Touche.
Nobody's there.
Touche.
So they're going in and they're like, hell yeah, I want to play San Francisco. So why not? Like, why not go for it?
Won't hurt anything. I mean, it's a different era. So
it won't do anything but make us a better team. And here's the thing: we're not facing Colin. We're not facing that type of thing that we know no. Burns always tells us is our kryptonite. We're not facing that.
Brown quarterback that can run.
Yeah,
we're facing a
point guard.
Running oriented team where You know, their wide receivers are really, and shout out to Brandon Ayuk, man. His season this year, unbelievable.
Good try, man. Good try.
It's really not the same type of team. So why not go there?
Yeah.
I would rather play them than to get another matchup with Detroit.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Is, you know what I'm saying? Let's play somebody different. And if it is them, or even if it's somebody like Dallas, even if it's the Eagles, guess what? For us, it's house money because we ain't never been there to be scared.
Yeah, this is
I
true.
want Detroit.
I thought about that too, but I don't want to play a team 3 times unless we absolutely have
everybody who the Kings of the North are.
But here's the thing. I think people understand that. Like Detroit is going to be the feel-good story of the North. But I think the way that we play, like look at the way we set the tone with Chicago, right? Detroit beats us and then we go back and beat them. We need to get Minnesota. Everybody knows, they know what type of year this is for us. So if they can't really, put us under now, we good. I would love a matchup with the 49ers. I would.
You know what's beautiful? We go Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love. Detroit ain't had a franchise quarterback as long as we've been alive. Chicago ain't had a franchise quarterback. Minnesota ain't had a franchise quarterback.
Minnesota had some decent guys. They haven't had franchise guys.
Ain't no Hall of Famers, no Go Jackets.
No, but they have some really good quarterbacks.
That's a good quarterback.
They have
no. Come on, fellas.
Go Jackets, no Go Jackets.
Quarterbacking around here.
This is true. This is true.
Elite. And Goot said it. Then the press conference before the season started. He said, "You're not winning the Super Bowl without a top 5, top 8 quarterback."
Touche.
And when he said that, I said, "These are the expectations he has for this young man."
Right now, I say he's top 10 for sure. That's my personal opinion. I think he's top 10. If not, he's right on the outside.
His PFF for the last 3 weeks put him. He's just behind Purdy and Prescott.
I take that. Prescott ain't playing nobody. That's the difference. Prescott ain't playing nobody. They beat the Seahawks, and when they beat the Seahawks, okay, well the Seahawks they were the only winning team that they've beaten this year. Mm-hmm. Everybody else 1-10, 3-8. They haven't beaten anybody, and then the other 2 teams that meant something in the NFC, they got stumped by. So you can't, So Purdy, I take more justice in being behind Purdy.
And even him, I'll say this: the same situation is Jalen and Tua. You have elite weapons. You have an elite offensive line, elite running back. Jordan is playing with children.
And we mean that in a nice way.
I like young guys. I like Jalen Hurts. But you didn't look like this till A.J. Brown showed up.
Yep.
I like Tua. You didn't look like this till Mike McDaniel came with some with some Shanahan scheme.
Yep.
And gave you Eric Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of, and this is where Ruck is right. There were times where they did not give Aaron the help he needed, and he still played at an MVP level.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope Goot doesn't do it to his boy, but I don't think he'll treat his black son this way.
Oh, God.
Mr. Drummond is going to give Love the weapons he needs.
Yo, that's great. But you know what, though? I don't think he is either.
Goot's stepdaddy down? That's what you said?
Mr. Drummond.
Hey, look, man. Hey, look. Here's the deal, though. But you're 100% right to an extent. Like, this is his guy. He has to. It's almost like you don't have to get it right, but I feel like they have to get it right.
He's not going to let him down. His job's on the line, too.
Yeah. His job's on the line.
He's hitched his wagon to him. We know what that means in sports, and he has to ride out. But don't see, the only thing that kind of shakes me about Goot is Goot doesn't strike me as a Jerry Jones, a Holmgren that when you hit your wagon to somebody, even if they going down, you just gonna ride it out, right? Like Goot will cut bait fast.
Yeah,
he definitely will. So that's the only thing that worries me about him, because again, there are going to be some of these young guys that we got to give opportunities. Like even in the secondary, listen, some of these guys we got to keep around. You got to keep Valentine. You got to keep Valentine.
Ford has played well from here and there. Yeah,
you got to keep these guys. If you're trying to sell us as a fan base with this youth movement, you better keep some of these guys around.
Hey,
the way that you
got to keep my.
You don't care about the fans because they asked him what his mid-season press conference. Do you have a message to the fans? He said, my job is to bring in good players. I don't got nothing to say to the fans.
That's good.
You know
Oh,
why?
my God.
Because it's team over everything. He
Team
just
over
got to do right by the
everything.
team. That's it. Goody Main.
Goody man.
Long as we win it, he ain't got to say nothing.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Look, fellas, like I appreciate you coming on, talking it up with me. Get ready for next week. We got Tampa Bay coming into town. And right now I got my man Cody Stewart. It was gonna be and him are gonna break down Packers and Giants, get a little bit more deep, give you those three keys to victory. My man Randall Burns, my man Dishon Rucker. Now it's time for the game preview. All right, everybody. It is time for this week. You know, Packers riding on a little bit of a high, but they've got a familiar foe coming in because, hey, this team is always giving the Packers trouble somewhere, somehow, or at some major point in the history. They come through along and they just kind of they come at the Packers and they disrupt good things going for the Packers. And the next guest that I'm about to bring on here, he knows all about that. It's my man Cody Stewart, co-host of the 4Y podcast and Giants Insider, Legacy Maker alumni. What is up, Cody? How's everything going, brother?
Hey, man, everything's going great. I mean, well, besides the Giants football season, but outside of that, everything is going amazing, man. How about yourself?
Hey, look, man, things are good. Things are good. It's busy, but it's good. I mean, I'd rather be busy than not be busy at all. But we got a NFL season that still sees the Giants in the playoff picture. that is how rough you can most people say maybe that's how rough the NFC is right now. The Packers holding on steady to that 7th seed, which they recently just got after defeating the Super Bowl champs, which I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm still a little bit on a high because
sure.
Did not see that happening, but it's good to see J Love coming to fruition. But you got yourself a young guy and Matilda's dad, aka Tommy DeVito.
Come on,
man. I've been calling him that for like a month. So Matilda's dad has been doing great things, man. Like 2 wins in a row. I mean, hey, I'm just saying.
Yeah, 2 wins in a row against not that great of teams, man. I mean, hey, what a win is a win, right? But still, it's one of those things where the Giants have before these 2 games, you're like, all right, top 2 pick incoming, time to get our franchise quarterback. Then they win these 2, and it's like typical Giants fashion, man. Win some games to push you further and further back, right?
Out the
it
draft
is what
pick.
It is.
It's like, why are we pushing each other out of the draft pick situation? We want to be able to draft high because, I mean, at one point it was number 2? And I think all right, number 2, that's not bad. And now it's and Green Bay was in the same situation. We were sitting at 6. I'm like, all right, about to be 6. Now all of a sudden, Jordan Love and the crew, which should be 5 games in a row, because they gave one away to Pittsburgh. And to me personally, I feel like they should be 10-2. There was only 2 games the Packers truly lost. They just got beat up on, and that was the Vikings game and the Lions game, the first ones. Other than that, I mean, they've either been in the mix right there, hey, and I've got a chance to see 2 of the Giants wins in person this year.
Well, I mean, look, if the Giants had a 17-game schedule against the Commanders, we're going 17-0. All right,
by all means, and it wouldn't be close. It's crazy. Each game going into it, somebody asked me, they was like, "Well, Darrell, what do you think about today?" I said, "I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't got a good feeling about it, but I'm gonna tell you right now, the Giants are gonna win this game because they just have that hangover the Commanders, and then on top of that, Saquon Barkley will score a touchdown." Every time he plays the Commanders, he will score a touchdown. So I told him, if you're a bet man, this is it. This is it. Go ahead and bet on Saquon. So, but let's go ahead and get into the Monday night matchup coming from MetLife. And so, Cody, I want to know, what are your 3 keys to a Giants victory over the Green Bay Packers on Monday?
So, number 1, as you can see, it's constant pressure on Jordan Love. And I'm going to kind of tweak this just a tad. I'm going to keep the constant pressure, but let's say constant pressure on Jordan Love / forcing turnovers, okay? So when you look at the Green Bay Packers, when Jordan Love is playing turnover-free ball, the Packers are good. When he's throwing interceptions, fumbling the ball, the Packers are not so good. In games where Jordan Love has a turnover. The Packers are 1-5 this season. So it's clear that you need to force some turnovers in order to beat the Green Bay Packers. But when I talk about the constant pressure, it's one thing that it's taken the Giants a little bit early on in the season. It took them a while to really get going as far as forcing pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And when they do force that pressure, it tends to be not always wins, but a close game that puts themselves in a situation or in a position to win the game. So if Kayvon Thibodeau, who is top 10 in sacks this year with, I believe, 11, if he can continue to disrupt opposing offensive tackles and make his way to the backfield and get some sacks, force some fumbles, the Giants will be in a good position to possibly steal one from the Green Bay Packers. Looking at number 2 for my keys to victory is protecting the quarterback. And there's absolutely no secret about it. The Giants have the worst offensive line in football. So this is a tall task to ask an offensive line who seems to have a different combination of offensive linemen every single game to start so far this year. But look, everybody knows in the NFL, the keys to victory is good quarterback play and protecting the quarterback. So Tommy DeVito, as you said early on, Tommy DeVito, 2 straight wins. He's not the savior in New York, but he is playing decent football for being a rookie out of Illinois, undrafted free agent. So if the Giants can protect him better, how about we say it like that, we phrase it like that. If the Giants can protect him better than what they have in some games so far this year, I think that they will, again, have a good opportunity to at least keep the game close against the thriving Green Bay Packers. And then finally, number 3, some could put this at number 1. You get the offensive machine for the Giants started. Getting Saquon Barkley going very early in the game is huge. It's huge because I feel like a lot of opposing defenses, they game plan around Saquon. They're like, we'll let anybody else beat us but Saquon. So if you can get Saquon going, what does that do? That opens up the play action pass. And we've seen Tommy DeVito. He's not scared to throw the ball down the field. You have a very good rookie, Jalen Hyatt, who is a speedster who can take the top off the defense. So if you can get Saquon going, if Saquon can touch the ball on that first drive 5 or 6 times, and I'd say maybe by the end of the first quarter or maybe by the end of the half, he's flirting with 80 yards rushing or 80 yards total yards. It's going to open the playbook a lot for the Giants. So if you can get Saquon Barkley going, things will be good.
And see, that's where it gets interesting for me because, like, we all know what the Packers' kryptonite is. They cannot stop the run. I mean, you can bring anybody in there. Cody, I'm pretty sure, man, you can get about 40 to 50 yards solid on that Packers D line, and I feel confident in that. And that's the thing. If they get Saquon Barkley going, it could be very dangerous for the Green Bay Packers. So I agree with you 100% on that. Protecting the quarterback is essential. With a line that has been rotating quite a bit this year. And I could definitely see, you got to find a way to stop Jordan Love. So what you're saying there kind of coincides with what my 3 keys are. So I'll swing to those real quick. Number 1, Jordan Love must continue his outstanding play. We've seen Jordan Love cruise the last couple of weeks. Knock on some wood.
Let's not do
that. I got to knock on some wood. And he hasn't made too many mistakes. And I think he's done a really good job of that. And my biggest thing for Jordan Love, and it's been my number 1 key all year, is getting consistent play out of Jordan Love. And now we're finally getting it. So it's now continue the outstanding play. So that's number 1 for me. Number 2, force Tommy DeVito, a.k.a. Matilda's dad, to beat us. You gotta keep DeVito. You got to force DeVito to beat you. And if you let him beat you and DeVito beat you, okay, you know what? The Giants deserve to win that game. But if you let Saquon Barkley, which is number 3, if you let him go off and you let Saquon Barkley have a Raheem Mostert type of day or a Colin Kaepernick type of day, which I've seen in the past and I don't want to see again, then that could spell trouble for this Green Bay Packers team. I think they're in a really good place right now. They're definitely riding a high right now, and I think that part is really critical, that they're riding that high and things are looking good for them right now. That's what I see from this contest. That's what Green Bay needs to do in order to win this one.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely correct. I mean, everything that you said, like I said earlier, turnover free ball from Jordan Love, Packers win the game. It's as simple as that. And that's what he's been able to do these past 3-ish or so games where y'all are riding the high right now. Jordan Love is looking like the guy, man. You know, some people might say, oh, well, he needs to do this or he needs to do that. But if we're going to be honest, this is his first true year as knowing, hey, I'm the Green Bay Packers starter. That confidence, knowing that you're the starter, can go a long way. Took him a couple games to get where he is, but guess what? He's playing well right now. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. You know, the Giants defense has played pretty well this year,
right?
You know, but Jordan Love has the attributes that he can easily carve up this secondary. So that's what worries me a lot.
It's the confidence level for me. Like I said, that's been the biggest thing. If he can keep the confidence level going, he's starting to, you know, he threw a couple plays in that last game against the Chiefs. I was like, okay, I probably wouldn't have done it, but hey, it worked out, you know. And I think that's all those years of being with Aaron. He said, Aaron could do it, I could do it too, and he's following that trait. So, but I did like what Aaron Rodgers said today. You know, you got to let Jordan Love be Jordan Love. He said that on the Pat McAfee show, you know, earlier this week or whenever this is coming out on Sunday. But it's very important that, you know, they let him be him. And so far so good. I ain't mad.
Yeah, for sure.
I ain't mad. So Cody, before we get off of here, man, like I said, once again, I appreciate you for coming on. Give us your outlook for the Giants between now, end of the season, and maybe in the off season. What are you looking for? You know, the Daniel Jones situation has been, you know, what it is. But just what are your thoughts on this team between now up into the draft?
Well, you brought up, you know, the Giants in the playoff hunt, right? And, you know, technically they are. I will say I truly don't believe they will make the playoffs, but they do have a few games against teams that are right ahead of them in this playoff hunt. They play Green Bay, obviously, this week. They play New Orleans the next week, and they play the Rams towards the end of the season. So those are 3 games. If the Giants are able to win that, it's like, hey, you know, they're still there. But again, I truly don't believe that it will get that far. So, you know, the Giants are likely going to get a top 10 pick. You know, I think that the coaching staff, as far as Brian Daboll, I think he will stay. There has been rumors coming out that he's kind of clashing with Wink Martindale, our defensive coordinator, who's done a tremendous job in the 2 years that he's been here. So I could see Wink leaving after this year. It would suck, honestly, but I can honestly see Wink leaving and going elsewhere. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you have to focus on the offseason, and, you know, this regime has to truly find who the franchise quarterback is going to be. You know, I know Daniel Jones was given that big contract. I totally understand it. And here's the thing, you know, Daniel, he's going to be on this team next year as well, you know, just based off of the guaranteed money, you know, unless a team wants to trade for him, which I highly doubt, he's going to be on this team next year. And that is what it is. So, you know, if the Giants are in a position to draft their franchise quarterback in the first round this year, and they decide to start him, well, Daniel Jones will just be the highest paid backup in career history, basically. Yeah. And that just is what it is. So as of right now, I mean, the keys for the Giants is, you know, it's all about evaluating what you have on the team right now with these last 6 or 7 games left in the season. And then just moving forward, you got to find your franchise quarterback, and you have to get that offensive line straightened out. It feels like we've been talking about this offensive line for a decade. It just has not. Yeah. It has not gotten better. So hopefully they can find a guy or two via free agency or the draft that really solidifies this offensive line, and, you know, the Giants can improve next year on whatever this year was.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy because they have tried. I feel like it's not without trying. They brought guys in, they drafted guys high, hoping for the best, and it just hasn't worked out. And it's a tough deal. You know, you can call it chemistry, whatever it is. It has happened for that Giants football team. For me, you know, I'll always say I don't know why they went with the Daniel Jones. I thought Daniel Jones should have been franchise tag. Go ahead and lock in Saquon. That's the way you do it. You're not holding on to Daniel this year, and it frees up a lot. But, you know, hey, we ain't the GM. We didn't make those decisions, you know. Exactly. I got some things I can yell at Goot about because I was like, yo, what are you doing here, my guy? But look, it is what it is. I mean, We'll see. We got Monday
Yeah.
Night Football, man. And look, Cody, I appreciate you coming on, man. Let everybody know where they can find you. Where they can hit you up at. Get all of that great knowledge coming from Cody Stewart.
Yeah, man. I mean, you can find me on Facebook, Cody Stewart. You can find me on Twitter. I believe it's Cody_Cody Stewart. I don't know, man. I'm bad on my usernames, man. But yeah, I'm just always talking sports. Doesn't matter what it is. Just love sports, man.
Look, Cody said, "Look, I'm out there.
I'm out there. Y'all find me.
If you
Not
get
that many
5
Cody Stewarts out here in the world. All right.
I promise you, I'm out there. Just find me, and you will know. All right, everybody. Look, man. Cody, once again, appreciate you coming on to the Green and Gold over everything here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. We will be back next week. The Packers take on the Buccaneers next week, so that also should be a fun one. But the question is, will the Packers still be in position to hold on to that 7th seed? Would they have bumped up by then? Because, hey, the Seahawks play the 49ers. We'll find all that out here soon. Once again, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. It's been Green and Gold over everything.